Hello everyone and welcome back to another Stormworks video. I hope you're all well and staying safe in these troubling times. Now in this video we're going to be learning how to do two separate components for a train. We're going to be learning first how to go and create automatic lights for the front and back of your train, so they'll go and switch depending on which direction you're going to go in. Along with that, we're also going to be learning how to build a GPS autopilot system for your train. This will allow you to set a waypoint and get the train to specifically drive there by itself and actually stop at that waypoint. It's a key element of a automation system that I use for my automatic trains. So we're going to go through today all the components you'll need, how to build these two different blocks. I will go over how to get it all wired up, and lastly we'll of course test it here in the world of Stormworks. Now if you're enjoying this video, comment below and what else you'd like to see in my future videos. While you're there, don't forget that like and subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified of my upcoming content as soon as it gets posted. So said, let's get straight into it and get started with this video. So we're back here at the train yard where we have our workbench just over there. Now we have the train in front of us that we've been building up in our actual tutorials. Now I hope you guys have been enjoying the tutorial series. We've learned quite a lot from actually building the whole train, to building the auto generator, to be building the actual slave master system, to a limited speed system that we have, and we've learned all about how that all goes and works. Now in today's video, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be setting up a automatic light system. So at the front here we'll have some white lights if we're going forwards. However, if we're going backwards, we're going to want some red lights here at the front and some white lights at the back. So we're going to set up that automatically, and we're going to start with that. Then we'll go on to the GPS part in a few minutes. So to get started, we're back into the workshop, and the easiest way I find to actually do this is to use RGB lights. Okay, allows us to not have that many lights on and allows us just simply to go and change it. So we're going to add some RGB lights. I'm going to add 2 at the back and 2 at the front. Okay. Now that we have that, we're going to understand how we're actually going to go and control those. So what we're going to say is, what we're going to do is we're going to use our speed sensor. We're going to tell the speed sensor, or we're going to read from the speed sensor thinking, well, if we're going in forward, so anywhere from 0 to, let's say, 1,000 miles per hour, or kilometers per hour, or meters per second, we want the lights in the front to be white, and we want the lights in the back to be red. If we're going in reverse, we want the lights in the front to be red, and the lights in the back to be white. Okay, so we're going to be using that speed sensor to control those RGB lights. Why I like using RGB lights, they all get controlled via composite. Okay, so it's really easy to set it up. So we're going to start by firstly creating a microprocessor. So we're going to microprocessor, we can click on, let's create a brand new one here. And we're going to call this, let's call it test RGB train lights. Okay. Length and width, I'm going to decrease it because I don't need that much logic on here. I'm going to add 2 logic nodes. One is going to be our number inputs, okay, and it's going to be our speed. That's how we're going to tell the system, hey, what do you need to show? And then lastly is going to be a composite out. That's what's actually going to go and control the actual RGB lights. So RGB lights. Perfect. Now that you have that, just make sure obviously it's not overlapping over here. And now we can go into our logic. Split it out. And we're going to go and be reading that speed. As I said earlier, we're going to say if the speed is positive, you want to do one thing. If it's negative, we're going to do another thing. Now, the nice thing with the RGB lights, as I said, it's got composite. So it works on different channels. So how we write on those channels is it takes RGB, so 3 values, okay? 3 different number values. We're going to go and grab a write. We're going to get that connected up to our actual composite out. We're going to say there's 6 channels. So 3 channels for the front, RGB, and 3 channels for the rear, RGB. Okay, whatever numbers we give that will change the color. Okay, so now we need to give it some numbers. So we're going to use one constant number block, and you could use a slider if you want to. We're going to use one constant number block, and we're going to call it whatever color, whatever strength we want. So I could do 150, I could do 250, I could do anything I want. So I'm going to do 150 for our example right here. Okay. And we're going to say, for example, if I wanted a static light, so I always want it to be white at the front and always to be red at the back, I would say 150 needs to go to R, G, and B. That creates white on the front RGB lights. And I set 150 to just the R value on the rear lights. That would in theory just create 0, 0, and 255 for the red. Okay, so that will only send red throughout there. We wanted to switch. we're going to be using a switch box. Okay, so simple numerical switch box over here. Okay, and we're going to go and get a few of those. We need 6 in total, so I'm just going to go and add a few here. I'll copy them, select, paste, and now we have 2 sets. What we're going to tell the system is, hey, if this train speed is over a certain speed, which is going to be from 0 to 1,000, so we're going to use a threshold gate for that. Okay, so speed, if it is between 0 and let's say 1,000, then we want these switch boxes to send its on signal through. Okay, and our on signal is going to be our number over here. So that's going to go on, and on. So it's going to send white, so RGB, and it's going to send red and 0, 0, which is red going through. We're going to get those connected up instead over to this value over here. Then we're going to tell the system, well, if you're not going between 0 miles per hour and 1,000 miles per hour, and you're going maybe -10 or -50, then we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to send only this 150 to the red, but on the rear, we're then going to send it to all 3 RGB values. Okay, you can leave this on its normal thing. Don't have to change anything else here. Of course, go and save it. I like to save it is to select or copy it, go into our save, select the processor, paste it in like that, click on save, and close this off. You can now go into your inventory, paste it in, and you'll notice we have the test RGB train lights. We can simply go and take it, put it wherever you want. I'm going to put it there, and we need to connect the logic. We're going to go through, start off with our speed, get that connected. Composite, so composite to our front lights, and composite to our rear lights. Electric to our lights. And the last thing you want to do is make sure your channels are right. So remember I said channel 1, 2, and 3 is the front lights, and 4, 5, 6 was the rear lights. The front light, 1, 2, 3, front light, 1, 2, 3, and rear lights, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so select it, 4, 5, 6, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, we should now be able to spawn this in. And depending on the speed we're going, I'm going to turn the battery on, get the master train. You can see the lights already white and red at the back. If we go forward, it's going to stay like that. Okay, you can see it's just staying there. If we put it into stop, it stops. If we put it in reverse, it should switch. As you can see there, it just switched to white at the back and red at the front. Okay, so I like the system. It's nice, it automates things, means you don't have to really worry about any switches or anything like that. It just does its own thing. As I said, you can change that 150 value to 250 to 10 to 100, whatever you want, depending on how strong of a light you want. You could also put it on a slider if you want to customize it. Okay. Now that we have that, the next thing we're going to figure out and learn how to do is going to be the manual GPS train setting. So it's going to drive to a waypoint, and it's going to increase and decrease the speed depending on how far it is. So we need a couple components to start off with. First component we need is to figure out where we are. We can use a simple GPS block for that. Simple GPS block, put it wherever you want. I'm going to put it here. So that's where we are currently. We need also another way to input where we want to go to. So we're going to use a keypad for that. So simple keypad. Put it over here, wherever you want to, once again. And we will need some way to toggle this autopilot on and off. Now I'm going to use a simple toggle switch. Okay, toggle button. Place it down here. Happy days. Now that we have these prerequisites done, we can now actually start building the microprocessor itself. Once again, microcontroller, new microcontroller, and we're going to call this one test GPS. Going to increase the size. We might have to increase it a little bit more as we go through. And we're going to go to our logic. Now we want to input our GPS location, so we need input X, another one, input number Y. Okay, so that's from our GPS block. And then we're going to go and put another one, so this is our desired X, that's a number once again, and our desired Y. Okay. Perfect. So now we got all that data, and spread it out if you want to. Okay, X, Y, X, Y. Okay, we also need to get our block in, so on and off, to tell the system if it's on or off. Okay, That will allow us either to use manual control or automatic control. And then obviously we want some way to send this data out. Now I'm going to be sending it into my limited set speed controller, so I'm just going to be using composite for it. You could obviously use anything you want to. You can obviously adapt this as much as you want to. Composite out, and that's going to go to limited set speed because that's what's controlling my speed currently. Okay, into logic, and logic actually isn't that hard. I'm thinking that this is an autopilot system. Okay, because we don't have to worry about turning, we just have to worry about going forwards and backwards. It actually makes it much easier. So, to set this all up, first we want to go and get our desired. So you can see desired Y, and we want to get desired X. And we also want to take our Y and our X. Okay, get them together. So you can see X, desired X, Y, and desired Y. Okay, so you got those two things. So we want to go and take these things and we want to go and measure what the length is from where we are to where we want to go. And to do that, all you have to do is go and take the minus block. So minus, okay, so C, there we go. Subtract, put 2 of those down. Okay, 2 of those down. So you're going to subtract the current position to where you want to go, current position to where you want to go, and we're going to go and get a function block. This is a 3 function block, 3 input function block. Put it down. We're going to say that our X values are X and our Y values are Y. We're going to click on the function and we're going to get the length. You'll notice that if we go down here, we can actually read the length of vector X and Y. Great, so we're just going to go and pretty much replicate that. So we're going to say at the top here, len X, comma, Y. Close it in. All you have to do, nothing else there, nice and simple. That is now giving you your distance. That's giving you your distance that's coming out the system. Okay. So if you want to add another node here to actually read the distance of how far you are, you can add that in. It's up to you, really. I'm not going to for our example. This, if you wanted to, guys, you could just create a simple extra node here saying distance and carrying on from that. And what we're going to say is we want we want our distance to be 0 or 5 or 10, whatever it needs to be. We're going to be using a PID. Okay, so grab a PID, take it over here and place it down. So we're going to say our variable is our distance. And then we're going to say that we want to be, our set points, we want to be, let's say, 5 or 10 meters away from it, or 20 meters, up to you. I'm going to say with 5 meters away from it. Okay. And then we're going to, obviously, that's going to go and send out our throttle or our speed. Okay. We obviously need a way to turn on our PID. So you can really see I've got a actual on-off for our GPS. I'm going to turn that on. Okay. And at the same time, we're going to go and send it over to our limited set speed. Okay. So to send it over to our limited set speed, all we have to do is, once again, go and take a right number. So let's go and get right. And you can see here. So we're simply just going to go and write this number across to our limited set speed. And I also want to write my actual on and off. The reason why I'm writing my on and off here is pretty much going to be saying to our limited set speed system to stop using manual control and start using our actual GPS autopilot system. So at the same time, we're going to go and get our right here, and we're going to go and get that connected up. We're going to simply go and connect it up there. Now it's sending out our GPS saying where it's on and off, and at the same time it's actually setting out our speed that we want to be at. Now if you wanted to, you could go and grab a clamp to limit your speed in here. So I'm going to go and limit it. Now let's say I want my speed to be limited between -50 and +150. That's the top speed I want the system to go at, so I'm going to limit it there. Okay. Another thing you will need to do, because we're measuring distance, which is negative, okay, you want to invert this number coming from the PID. To invert it, simply get a function block, place it down, and we're going to bypass this number through the function block, and we're going to function block and do -x. That inverts the number. The last thing we have to do here is go into our PID and put the settings in. I'm just going to put some easy numbers in, 0.8, 0.4. It will work. Okay, those are very quite common numbers. Okay, and we're going to go and save this. So I'm going to go back to my properties, copy this, go to save, click on new, and press save. Once I can close out of here, I can then place that block down. Okay, so you can see I've got it over here. Let's put it somewhere easy. So let's put it over here at the back. Okay, and we can start getting our everything logic all connected up. So electricity is very important. So once again, we're going to get our electricity to our keypad, our toggle button, and our GPS block. We can also get our data. So you can see here, X from our GPS blocks goes to X. Y from GPS block goes to Y. A from our keypad goes to X. And B from our keypad goes to decide Y. On off goes from our toggle button, okay, and then we still have our composite. But we need to send our composite into our actual limited set speed controller, okay? So we're gonna go into our limited set speed controller now, click on it, go to edit, yep, thank you very much. We're gonna add a new node. That new node is going to be our composite input that we're getting from our GPS block. So GPS in, cool. We can then go into our logic. You can see our data is coming in over here. And from the tutorial, remember guys, that our speed that we want it to be going at is coming out from here and going into our PID and into our desired speed. We want to bypass that. We're going to tell the system, if you're manual, take this number. If you're automatic, we want to take the number coming from our composite. So we're firstly going to go and read the data from there. We're going to go and read our number, our speed, and we're going to go and read our actual on and off, whether the system is on or not. And you can leave it as 1 1. We're then going to get a switch box, and we're going to tell the system, okay, if the autopilot's on, we want to take our speed from our GPS block. If the autopilot's off, we want to take it from our limited set speed. And then that is going to go over to our desired speed and our PID. Just like that. Nice and easy. You can of course go and update that. Guys, if you haven't obviously watched a tutorial on this, please go and watch it. It's really good and really easy to set up. And obviously this will be a little bit easier then to follow if you have got that. Once you've got that, simply all you have to do is take this limited set speed, get it connected. Make sure once again all electricity is connected, all your logic is connected, and you can go and spawn this in. Now you'll notice that if we go into the seat, we turn it on, put our master on, we can control it like a normal train. Yeah, desired speed, cool. It's driving just like a normal train here. Very easy. If we want it to be automatic, we can go and set a location. So I'm going to use a waypoint here. I'm going to put the coordinates in. Press the toggle button to turn my autopilot on. The train will now drive to that location. And it's going to stop when we get there. Hey, look at that. It just went and slowed down. It should stop a couple meters away from it. Yep. And there we are. Now you could have an automatic turn off feature if you wanted to. So when it's reached its destination, it could turn off the autopilot completely. Quite easy to add. I'm not going to be showing in this video. Let's go and add a longer distance. So let's go and put this North Harbor station or pier. Go and put the coordinates in. Submit it. It's going to drive now. Okay, so it's going to pick up its speed. You can see desired speed is 150. It's hit 150 now. It's going to hover around there. Because remember that's what I put in my clamp. Yeah, the engine just started, by the way. Okay, so it's going to hover around there because it knows it's quite far away still. And you can see here we're 1.2 Ks. And as we start coming quicker, you'll notice our desired speed is going to start dropping. Okay, as soon as we get a little bit closer, that will start to drop. There we go, and you can see our speed is dropping. We're getting closer to it now. And it's going to stop right on that waypoint. Desired speed now is negative, so it's slowing us down. Perfect, happy days. And we now have the system. That is a easy way to go and add a manual GPS system to your train. Now guys, you let me know in the video comments below what you would like to see next. The one thing I still do have planned is to obviously show you how to set up the automatic train system, so it will stop at different stations along the way. So that is coming, don't worry, I do know about it. But if you would like to see anything else to do with trains, any other features you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below, and then I'll look at doing the tutorials with that. Of course, Be sure to keep an eye out on the channel. There's some really cool and exciting videos coming out in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So I think we'll go ahead and end today's video over there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it something entertaining and informative as always. And we'll see you in the next one.